What happens when we die? It's a question that has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. Across cultures and civilizations, people have searched for answers about what lies beyond our final breath. For more than 1 billion people, those answers are found in a detailed spiritual journey that begins at death and continues through unseen worlds, judgment, and the possibility of an eternal destination. In this documentary, we'll explore that journey step by step, examining beliefs about the soul, the afterlife, and how our actions in this life may shape what comes next. But as we follow this path beyond death, one question remains: if our choices truly echo beyond this life, how should we choose to live today? Death in Islam is not an annihilation or a final cessation of existence, but rather a profound transition, a passage through a veiled threshold separating one state of being from another. It is the moment when the soul departs from the physical vessel, embarking on an entirely new chapter of its eternal journey. This understanding transforms the human experience of mortality from an ultimate end into a significant, albeit often somber, beginning. It reframes the concept of departure, urging reflection on what lies beyond the immediate perception of the living. Immediately following the departure of the soul, every individual enters a unique, unseen realm known as Barzakh. This term, derived from the Arabic word meaning barrier or interstice, precisely describes its function: a partition, a distinct dimension that stands between the life of this world and the ultimate life of the hereafter. It is not merely a waiting room or a void, but an active, albeit exclusively spiritual existence tailored to the deeds and beliefs of each soul during their earthly tenure. This intermediate realm is entirely separate from the physical world we inhabit, yet it is intricately connected to the destiny that awaits every individual. This hidden world of Barzakh remains a profound mystery to the living, its true nature and experiences veiled from human senses and comprehension. No living eye has ever glimpsed its reality, nor has any ear heard its sounds. It is a realm accessible only to the departed souls, a testament to the divine design that keeps certain truths beyond the immediate grasp of humanity until their appointed time. This exclusivity enhances its mystique, inviting deep contemplation about the limits of human perception and the vastness of the unseen universe. The very idea of Barzakh compels one to acknowledge the existence of dimensions beyond the immediately observable, challenging the notion that reality is confined solely to what can be empirically verified. As we delve into this concept, we are setting the stage for an extraordinary journey into the spiritual unknown, a domain where the conventional rules of time and space may not apply in the same way. Every single soul, irrespective of their earthly status, wealth, or power, will inevitably enter this realm. It is the inescapable next step for all of humanity, a universal destination that underscores the equality of all beings in the face of divine judgment. This journey is not a matter of choice, but a predetermined course, making the understanding of Barzakh not just a theological curiosity, but a critical component of preparing for an inevitable reality. The human desire to comprehend what lies beyond the physical world is an innate and enduring aspect of our consciousness. From ancient civilizations to modern societies, people have always sought answers to the fundamental questions surrounding death and what follows. Barzakh offers a specific, detailed framework within Islamic theology to address these profound inquiries. It provides a spiritual map, guiding believers through the anticipated stages after death, offering solace, promoting reflection, and encouraging a life lived with purpose and accountability. This exploration aims to illuminate these often hidden aspects, providing insight into a journey that every human being will ultimately undertake. The moment of death itself, the transition from this world to the next, is described in Islamic tradition with profound detail and gravity. It is not a sudden ceasing of existence, but a conscious, albeit often painful, separation of the soul from the body. Imagine the sensation of a thorn being pulled through wet wool, or a sword being drawn from a sheath. These are some of the vivid analogies used to convey the difficulty of this parting for the dying. For some, particularly those who lived lives of righteousness, this separation is eased, a gentle release, like a drop of water slipping from a pitcher. But for others, those who indulged in transgression and neglected their spiritual duties, it is a wrenching experience, a terrifying extraction that marks the beginning of their accountability. Central to this transition is the angel of death, Israel, who who arrives at the bedside of the dying. This is not a randomly occurring event. Divine decree dictates the precise timing and manner of every soul's departure. The Quran speaks of angels who seize the souls, and Islamic tradition elaborates on Israel's role. He comes not as a harbinger of doom alone, but as a facilitator of the divine will. For the believer, his countenance is described as gentle, perhaps even comforting, accompanied by other angels of mercy bringing shrouds from paradise and fragrant perfumes. They sit at a distance, their presence a silent assurance. For the disbeliever or the wicked, however, his appearance is terrifying, accompanied by angels of punishment, bearing coarse shrouds and a stench from hell, their very presence filling the dying with dread. Once separated from the body, the soul embarks on its first journey in the unseen realm, an ascent towards the heavens. This is a critical initial evaluation, a moment of profound significance. The angels accompanying the soul of a righteous person carry it upwards, passing through each of the 7 heavens. At every heaven the gates are opened, and the angels within greet the ascending soul with reverence, asking about its identity and praising its good deeds. The air fills with a beautiful fragrance, and the soul is honoured. This ascent continues until it reaches the highest heaven, where it stands before its Lord. This is a moment of immense grace and acceptance, a confirmation of its blessed state. Conversely, the soul of a wicked person faces a starkly different fate. As it is carried upwards, the gates of the heavens remain closed. The angels within recoil from its foul odour, refusing it passage. They curse it, asking about its identity with disdain. The soul is then cast back down, unable to penetrate the celestial barriers. This descent is not merely a physical fall, it is a profound spiritual rejection, a premonition of the judgment to come. It highlights the immediate consequences of one's earthly actions, even before the final accounting. This initial journey, whether ascent or descent, sets the tone for the soul's experience in Barzakh. Following this celestial interaction, both righteous and wicked souls are returned to their respective bodies in the grave. This return is not a reanimation in the earthly sense, but a spiritual reconnection that allows for the questioning that is to follow. The body in the grave becomes a temporary vessel for the soul during this intermediary period. It is a unique state, neither fully alive as in this world, nor fully disembodied as it will be on the Day of Judgment. The grave itself transforms, becoming either a garden from the gardens of paradise or a pit from the pits of hell, depending on the deeds of the deceased. This physical space, often seen as merely a burial site, takes on profound spiritual significance. The most immediate and universally experienced event in Barzakh is the questioning by the 2 angels, Munkar and Nakir. These formidable angels, described as having terrifying appearances with piercing voices and eyes like blazing fire, approach the deceased in the grave. They raise the deceased to a sitting position, a jarring and disorienting experience for the soul. Then, they pose 3 fundamental questions. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is your prophet? These questions are not designed to elicit intellectual answers, but to reveal the true state of the heart and the convictions held during life. For the believer, one who lived with sincere faith and righteous deeds, the answers flow effortlessly. My Lord is Allah, they declare with conviction. My religion is Islam, they affirm with certainty. And my prophet is Muhammad, they state with love and recognition. These answers are not memorized responses but emanate from the very core of their being, reflecting a life lived in accordance with these truths. The angels then announce that they have spoken the truth. The grave expands, becoming spacious and filled with light, and a window is opened to paradise, allowing a gentle breeze and fragrant scents to waft in. The believer is then granted a period of peaceful rest, a foretaste of the bliss to come. In stark contrast, the disbeliever or hypocrite, upon being questioned, falters. They stammer, unable to provide coherent answers. Huh? I don't know, they might say, or they might repeat what they heard others say in life, without genuine conviction. Their hearts, devoid of true faith, cannot articulate the truths presented. The angels then declare that they have lied. The grave constricts, crushing the deceased until their ribs interlace. A window is opened to hellfire, and its scorching heat and noxious fumes fill the grave. The disbeliever is then subjected to torment, often described as an unending cycle of punishment, until the day of judgment. This immediate suffering serves as a prelude to the greater punishment awaiting them. It is also important to note that the deceased is not entirely alone in the grave. For the righteous, a beautiful companion, described as a person with a radiant face and pleasant scent, appears. When asked about their identity, this companion replies, "I am your good deeds." This companionship offers solace and comfort in the solitude of the grave. For the wicked, a repulsive figure with a foul odour and an unsightly appearance emerges. This companion, when questioned, reveals itself to be the embodiment of their evil deeds, bringing further distress and torment. These companions serve as tangible manifestations of the impact of one's actions, a constant reminder of their legacy. For the righteous, the period in Barzakh is often described as a peaceful sleep, a state of rest and anticipation. They are shown their abode in paradise, and they long for the coming of the hour when they will finally enter that eternal dwelling. This sleep is not an unconscious void, but a conscious awareness of their blessed state, a tranquil waiting period. They experience glimpses of the joys of paradise, a continuous source of comfort and reassurance. The grave for them truly becomes a garden. This concept underscores the mercy of Allah and the reward for a life well lived, even before the final judgment. For the wicked, Barzakh is a period of continuous torment, a taste of the punishment to come. This torment is not merely psychological, it is often described as physical, involving being beaten with iron rods, exposed to the heat of hellfire, and crushed by the narrowing of the grave. The severity of this punishment varies according to the gravity of their sins. Some may experience intermittent torment, while others face a more constant affliction. This suffering serves as a purification for some, and for others, a just recompense for their transgressions, a warning of the greater horrors that await them on the day of judgment. The grave for them is a pit of fire. While Barzakh is a separate realm, it is not entirely disconnected from this world. Islamic teachings suggest that the living can benefit the dead through prayers, supplications, and acts of charity performed on their behalf. A child's sincere prayer for their deceased parents, for instance, can alleviate their suffering or elevate their status in Barzakh. Similarly, the deceased are said to be aware of certain events in the world of the living, particularly those concerning their loved ones. This subtle interconnectedness emphasizes the continuity of relationships and the importance of remembering and honoring those who have passed on. It also highlights the ongoing impact of one's legacy and the power of collective good deeds. It is crucial to remember that Barzakh is part of the unseen, the ghaib. Our understanding of it comes primarily from divine revelation and prophetic traditions. While these provide vivid descriptions, the true nature of these experiences is beyond our full human comprehension. We perceive reality through our physical senses, but Barzakh operates on a different plane of existence. Therefore, while we strive to understand and internalize these teachings, we must also acknowledge the limitations of our earthly perspective. The descriptions serve to convey spiritual truths and motivate righteous actions, rather than providing a literal scientific blueprint of the afterlife. Faith plays a paramount role in accepting and believing in these unseen realities. The delicate thread of life, so intricately woven into the fabric of the human body, begins to fray long before the final severance. A subtle shift occurs, an almost imperceptible weakening of the vital forces that animate existence. The senses, once sharp and receptive, start to recede inward, dimming like lights in a vast emptying hall. For some, this process is drawn out, a slow, agonizing farewell, while for others it is swift and sudden, a momentary gasp before the ultimate silence. It is a moment universally anticipated, yet profoundly unique for every individual. This is not merely a biological cessation, it is the prelude to an unparalleled transition, a journey into a realm unseen. As the final moments approach, a chill often descends upon the extremities, slowly creeping inward, signaling the body's surrender. The eyes, though perhaps open, may no longer truly see the familiar faces gathered around, their gaze fixed on something beyond the veil of this world. The ears, however, are said to remain acutely perceptive, often catching the whispers and prayers of loved ones, even as the ability to respond fades. A deep internal struggle may commence, not of the body fighting for breath, but of the soul preparing for its arduous extraction. This is the ultimate rite of passage, the grand exit from the earthly stage. At this precise juncture, an unseen presence makes itself known. The angels of death, often referred to as Malak al-Maut or Israel, arrive. Their appearance, however, is not uniform. It is profoundly shaped by the life the dying person has led. For the righteous, those who have lived in obedience to divine commands, the angels manifest in a form of serene beauty and radiant light. They exude an aura of peace and comfort, their faces gentle and reassuring, bringing tidings of joy and eternal gardens. Their presence is a beacon of hope, a promise of tranquility after a life of striving. They carry with them shrouds and perfumes from paradise, preparing to receive a soul worthy of such honor. Conversely, for those who have spent their lives in rebellion, heedless of divine guidance, the angels of death appear in a terrifying aspect. Their visages are stern and unyielding, their presence heavy with an ominous dread. They carry coarse shrouds and a stench from hellfire, a stark premonition of the torment that awaits. This stark contrast in appearance underscores the immediate consequences of one's earthly choices, painting a vivid picture of the spiritual reality that unfolds at the threshold of death. The angels are not arbitrary. They are reflections of the soul's own state. The departure of the soul itself is described with profound imagery. For the disobedient, the extraction is a brutal, agonizing ordeal, akin to a barbed hook being ripped through wet wool. Every nerve ending screams in protest as the soul is torn from its earthly vessel, clinging desperately to the only reality it has ever known. It is a struggle against an irresistible force, a violent separation that leaves the body writhing in its final throes. The soul resists, unwilling to relinquish its hold, but the divine decree is absolute, and its time has come. This painful separation is a taste of the suffering to come, a just recompense for a life lived in defiance. In stark contrast, for the pious, the process is one of profound ease and gentleness. The soul slips out effortlessly, like a drop of water from a waterskin, or a hair being smoothly drawn from dough. There is no struggle, no pain, only a serene release. It is a peaceful transition, as if the soul is returning home after a long journey, eager to shed the burdens of the physical world. The angels of death address it with words of welcome and assurance, inviting it to a blissful rest. The body, for its part, experiences a final peaceful exhalation, a quiet surrender. As the soul finally separates from the body, a remarkable event occurs. It is said to cast a final lingering glance back at its earthly form, now inanimate and lifeless. It witnesses the grief of its loved ones, hears their cries, and sees the preparations for its burial, yet it can neither speak nor intervene. A silent observer to the unfolding drama, this moment is imbued with a poignant awareness, a profound realization of the absolute finality of its earthly existence. It sees the world it once inhabited, the possessions it cherished, the people it loved, all receding into a distant memory, now irrelevant to its new reality. In that instant of separation, the soul is immediately aware of its new state and surroundings. It is no longer bound by the limitations of the physical body, yet it retains its consciousness, its memories, and its unique identity. It recognizes the angels of death, understands their words, and comprehends the implications of its transition. It is fully cognizant of its fate, whether it be one of comfort or torment. This immediate awareness shatters the notion of death as an unconscious void. Instead, it is a conscious awakening to a different dimension of existence. The soul enters a state of profound clarity, where the illusions of the material world dissipate and the spiritual truths become undeniably manifest. It is a moment of profound revelation, a direct encounter with the consequences of a lifetime of choices. The journey has truly begun. The body, now devoid of its animating spirit, is prepared for its final resting place. This preparation, the ghusl or ritual washing, is a sacred act performed with reverence and dignity. Each movement, each cleansing, is meant to honor the deceased, to purify them one last time before their burial. The body is then shrouded in simple, unadorned white cloths, symbolizing equality in death and the shedding of worldly attachments. This simplicity underscores a fundamental truth. In the face of eternity, earthly status and possessions hold no sway. The shroud is a reminder that all will return to dust, and only deeds remain. The funeral prayer, the janazah, follows. It is a collective supplication, a heartfelt plea to God for mercy and forgiveness for the departed. Standing shoulder to shoulder, the community unites in this final act of solidarity, offering their prayers not for themselves, but for the soul that has just embarked on its solitary journey. This prayer is not a lamentation but an expression of hope, an acknowledgement of God's sovereignty, and a reaffirmation of faith in the afterlife. It is a powerful testament to the interconnectedness of the living and the dead, a bridge between two worlds. Finally, the body is carried to the grave. There, it is gently lowered into the earth, laid on its right side, facing the Kaaba in Mecca. This orientation is not merely a custom, it is a symbolic gesture, aligning the deceased with the spiritual heart of Islam, even in death. The earth is then carefully placed back, covering the body, marking the physical end of its worldly existence. As the last clods of soil are laid, a profound silence often descends, broken only by quiet prayers. This is the moment of final physical separation, a poignant farewell to the earthly vessel. Yet for the soul, the journey is far from over. As the mourners depart and the grave is sealed, a new critical phase begins. The soul, now fully aware, finds itself alone in the confines of the grave. It is then that two angels, Munkar and Nakir, descend. Their appearance is often described as awe-inspiring, even formidable, capable of striking fear into the hearts of the unprepared. They are the interrogators of the grave, the first arbiters of the soul's destiny in the Barzakh, the intermediate realm between death and resurrection. These angels approach the soul and pose three fundamental questions. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is your prophet? These are not mere intellectual queries. They are probes into the very essence of the soul's being, a test of its foundational beliefs and the sincerity of its faith during its earthly life. The answers given are not recited from memory but emanate from the truth of the soul's actions and convictions. A steadfast believer, one who lived a life of submission to God, will find their tongue loosened, their answers clear and unwavering. They will declare, "My Lord is Allah, my religion is Islam, and my prophet is Muhammad." For such a soul, the grave transforms. It expands, becoming spacious and filled with light. A window opens, offering a glimpse of paradise, and a gentle breeze carrying its fragrance wafts through. This is the beginning of comfort, a foretaste of the rewards to come. The grave becomes a place of rest, a garden from the gardens of paradise, where the soul awaits the day of judgment in tranquility and peace. This serene state is a direct consequence of a life well lived, a testament to the mercy of the divine. However, for those who lived a life of disbelief, disobedience, or hypocrisy, the experience is starkly different, a brutal awakening to the consequences of their choices. When Munkar and Nakir pose their questions, the disbeliever falters, their tongue becomes heavy, their mind clouded, and they can only stammer, "Alas, alas, I do not know." They are unable to articulate the truths they rejected or ignored in life. This inability to respond correctly is not a failure of intellect, but a manifestation of the spiritual blindness that characterized their earthly existence. For these souls, the grave shrinks, pressing in on them until their ribs intertwine. It becomes a place of constriction and darkness, a pit from the pits of hell. A window opens, but it offers a terrifying glimpse of the inferno, and its searing heat and putrid stench fill the grave. The soul is subjected to various forms of torment, specific to their transgressions. For instance, those who consume usury might find their bellies bloated and their movements agonizingly slow. Liars might have their mouths torn open, and backbiters might be forced to consume rotting flesh. These punishments are not arbitrary, but are a direct reflection of the wrongs committed, a visceral experience of the spiritual damage they inflicted. The torment is not merely physical, it is profoundly psychological and spiritual. The soul is overwhelmed by regret, by the crushing realization of what it has lost and the agonizing certainty of what awaits it. This period in the grave, whether blissful or tormenting, is known as Barzakh, It is a waiting room, a transitional phase, where the soul experiences a preliminary taste of its ultimate fate, a preview of the eternal recompense that will be fully unveiled on the Day of Judgment. The Barzakh is a realm of heightened awareness, where time as we know it ceases to exist, and the soul is acutely attuned to its spiritual state. After the grave's questioning, the righteous soul ascends triumphantly through the heavens. Bathed in light and carried by angels, it is met with greetings of peace and joy at each celestial gate. Angels inquire about its earthly deeds, and the soul encounters spiritual ancestors and loved ones in joyous reunions. Deceased believers gather, eager for news from the earthly realm, asking about the living's well-being and faith, bridging the gap between life and death. The righteous soul feels an unparalleled sense of belonging, a spiritual kinship with those who successfully navigated earthly trials, inquiring about the world and their families. This interaction highlights the enduring connection between the living and the dead, maintained through prayers. This reception is like a grand family reunion for the pious, a cosmic homecoming where the soul is welcomed into a community of like-minded beings. There is collective peace and anticipation of ultimate reward. This vibrant gathering facilitates shared knowledge and spiritual insights, with the new arrival learning from those present longer, deepening understanding of divine wisdom. It is a foretaste of bliss, affirming that earthly struggles were not in vain. Conversely, the unrighteous soul experiences a terrifying rejection. Failing the grave's questioning, its ascent is met with despair. Heavenly gates remain shut, and angels rebuke it, denying passage. This active turning away signifies unworthiness and spiritual impurity. As the unrighteous soul feels the weight of its transgressions, there is only isolation and spiritual exile, a profound silence of rejection. The narrative describes a foul smell emanating from such a soul, repelling angels and heavenly inhabitants, representing spiritual corruption. These gates are spiritual thresholds, permeable only to purified souls. The unrighteous soul is confined to lower realms, a journey marked by humiliation. After this attempted ascent, souls enter a temporary holding place before returning to the grave. Righteous souls go to an elevated place, near the Sidrat al-Muntaha, or in a special part of paradise. Some accounts describe them residing in green birds, enjoying paradise's fruits and rivers, a preliminary taste of its delights. This is a state of blissful repose, awaiting final resurrection. Unrighteous souls are cast down to Sijin, a dark, confined prison for disbelievers, a place of torment. Regardless of abode, all souls eventually return to their graves for a spiritual reconnection, preparing for the questioning by Munkar and Nakir, which sets the tone for their stay in Barzakh. This cyclical movement underscores the transient nature of this intermediate realm, a prelude to the Day of Judgment. The first trumpet blast signals the end of all life, a cosmic shockwave unraveling existence. Mountains crumble, oceans boil, and stars fall. Every living creature, from microbe to human, perishes. The Quran states every soul shall taste death, a universal decree sparing no one, not even most angels. The world as we know it ceases, cities, ecosystems, and human endeavors vanishing. The earth flattens into a barren plain, a moment of absolute annihilation, reminding us of creation's transient nature and the Creator's sovereignty. This period of desolation, its length known only to Allah, is a profound silence preceding monumental recreation. Following this universal death, the second trumpet blast resounds, a terrifying and miraculous call of resurrection. From every grave, bone, and particle of dust, life is rekindled. The barren earth swells and cracks open, revealing resurrected bodies. Each soul reunites with its perfected earthly form, ready for eternal reckoning. The Quran vividly describes people emerging from graves as if they were swarming locusts, rushing toward a summoned assembly. They will be naked, uncircumcised, and bewildered, eyes fixed on the majestic gathering. This resurrection attests to Allah's power, His ability to bring life from death, reassemble the scattered, and hold every being accountable. It is a physical and spiritual awakening, as all memories, deeds, and intentions are brought to light. This reassembly marks the beginning of the Day of Judgment. As the resurrected masses gather, they converge on the vast Marshar plain, stretching endlessly for all humanity. The sun approaches unbearably close, drenching people in sweat, some drowning in it, according to their sins. The righteous find shade under Allah's throne. This is an organized assembly, with each nation led by its prophets. The sheer numbers, heat, and uncertainty create immense anxiety. People are in disarray, concerned only with their own salvation, seeking intercession. Here, earthly realities become apparent, masks fall, and every deed and thought is laid bare. In this moment of overwhelming distress on the Day of Judgment, humanity desperately seeks intercession from prophets to expedite accounting. They approach Adam, who humbly declines, recalling his transgression and fearing Allah's wrath, directing them to Noah. Noah also declines, remembering his plea for his disbelieving son, directing them to Abraham. This chain continues, with each prophet, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, declining, citing their frailties and fears, directing people to the next. This highlights that only a specially chosen individual will possess the authority to stand before Allah. Humanity's escalating despair underscores the gravity of their situation and the Creator's immense power. Finally, the desperate masses are directed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the only one granted the grand intercession, Ash-Shafa al-Kubra. He proceeds to Allah's throne, prostrating in prolonged worship, inspired with new praises. A voice calls, "O Muhammad, raise your head, ask and you shall be granted, intercede and your intercession shall be accepted." At this pivotal moment, Prophet Muhammad asks for judgment to begin, for the accounting of deeds to commence, relieving humanity from the agonizing weight on Mahshar. This unique honor, a testament to his elevated status and compassion, is not to alter divine justice but to initiate the process, offering relief from the unbearable suspense. This marks a turning point on the Day of Judgment, moving from agonizing weight to meticulous accountability. With the Prophet's intercession accepted, the vast assembly on the plains of Mahshar stirs, a collective breath held for countless ages finally released. The sky, which had been a suffocating canvas of oppressive stillness, begins to shift. Mountains, which once stood as eternal sentinels, are pulverized into dust, scattered like motes before the wind. The very fabric of reality, as humanity knew it, unravels, making way for a new, utterly transparent existence where all deeds, hidden or manifest, will be laid bare. This is not merely a change of scenery. It is a fundamental reordering of existence, a cosmic realignment to facilitate the ultimate truth. Then, towering above the resurrected masses, the scales of justice, known as al-Mizan, are erected. These are not scales of earthly design, but instruments of absolute divine precision, capable of weighing not just physical actions but intentions, thoughts, and even the flicker of a heart's sincerity. On one pan, all the good deeds are placed. On the other, all the transgressions. The Quran describes this moment, emphasizing that not even the weight of an atom will be overlooked. Every act of kindness, every whispered prayer, every moment of patience, every charitable gift, every instance of injustice, every lie, every moment of heedlessness, all are meticulously recorded and presented. The sheer volume of human experience, distilled into these two opposing forces, creates an atmosphere of profound anticipation and dread. For some, the pan of good deeds will descend with a resounding thud, their faces illuminated with hope and relief, their hearts swelling with gratitude for Allah's mercy. They will see the cumulative effect of their faith and righteousness. Acts they may have forgotten, now magnified and given immense weight. A single kind word, a moment of comforting a distressed soul, a secret act of charity, all these performed with pure intention contribute to their salvation. Conversely, others will witness their good deeds barely register, overshadowed by the enormity of their misdeeds. The pan of transgressions will sink, a heavy, undeniable testament to a life lived in defiance or negligence. This moment is depicted as one of stark realization, where self-deception and worldly illusions are utterly stripped away, leaving only the unvarnished truth of one's spiritual balance. Accompanying the Mizan is the presentation of the Book of Deeds, a complete and unalterable record of every individual's life, meticulously compiled by the recording angels, the Kiraman Katabin. Each person receives their book, either in their right hand, a sign of their success and acceptance, or in their left hand or from behind their back, indicating their failure and condemnation. The sheer detail contained within these books is overwhelming. Not a single word spoken, not a single thought entertained, not a single action performed, however small or seemingly insignificant, has been omitted. The individual will read their own record, some with joy and others with utter shame and despair, unable to deny a single entry. It is a moment of profound personal accountability, a direct confrontation with the sum total of one's earthly existence. Imagine the terror of encountering your deepest, most hidden faults and sins laid bare for all to see, or at least for you to confront directly. The Quran speaks of the disbelievers crying out, "Woe to us! What sort of book is this that leaves neither a small thing nor a big thing but has enumerated it all?" This profound self-confrontation is a crucial part of the reckoning. There is no possibility of denial, no excuse that can withstand the divine scrutiny. The book serves as irrefutable evidence, a mirror reflecting the true spiritual state of the individual, devoid of any worldly embellishments or social facades. It is a moment of unadulterated truth where the soul stands naked before its creator, with only its deeds to speak for it. Following the reckoning, humanity faces another formidable trial, the crossing of the Bridge of Sirat. This bridge is described as being finer than a strand of hair and sharper than the edge of a sword, strung across the chasm of hellfire. Below, the flames of Jahannam rage, a terrifying spectacle for all to witness. The journey across this bridge is not a physical feat in the earthly sense, but a spiritual one, its ease or difficulty directly proportional to the individual's faith and deeds. The righteous will pass over it with the speed of lightning, some like the wind, others like galloping horses, their light emanating from their good deeds guiding them. For those whose good deeds were few, or whose hearts were filled with disbelief, the passage becomes treacherous. They may stumble, crawl, or be snagged by hooks protruding from the sides of the bridge, designed to ensnare the sinful and cast them into the abyss below. The sight of others falling into the raging inferno adds to the terror and urgency of the crossing. The Prophet Muhammad will be at the end of the bridge, interceding for his community, pleading, "O Allah, save, save." This final trial before salvation or damnation is a stark visual representation of the consequences of one's life choices, a final harrowing test of endurance and faith. It culminates the journey of accountability, leading directly to the ultimate destinations. The world, with all its clamour and distractions, suddenly recedes as the body is lowered into the earth. This is the initial solitude of the grave, a stark, immediate change from the bustling rhythm of life. For the deceased, it marks the beginning of an entirely new reality, a profound transition from the tangible to the unseen. The grave is not merely a final resting place for the physical remains. In Islamic belief, it is the first station of the afterlife, a temporary abode, a waiting room, until the day of resurrection. It is here that the soul begins its solitary journey, experiencing the direct consequences of its earthly existence. Long before the ultimate judgment, the grave itself is described in vivid and often contrasting terms, reflecting the deeds of the individual interred within. For the righteous, it is said to expand, becoming a vast and comforting space, illuminated and filled with a gentle breeze from paradise. It embraces them not with confinement, but with a serene expanse, offering a foretaste of the bliss to come. This embrace is one of peace and tranquility, a welcoming refuge from the trials of the world, where the soul finds solace and rest. The air is fragrant, the surroundings pleasant, and the individual is granted a glimpse of their future abode in paradise, filling them with joy and anticipation. Conversely, for those who lived a life of disobedience and disbelief, the grave's embrace is a terrifying confinement. It is said to constrict and squeeze the body, crushing the ribs until they intertwine. The space becomes dark, suffocating, and filled with a dreadful heat and stench, a direct link to the torment of hellfire. This crushing embrace reflects the spiritual state of the unrighteous soul, which finds no peace or comfort, but only intensified suffering. The walls of the grave press in, symbolizing the inner turmoil and the weight of unrepented sins, offering no escape from the immediate consequences of their actions. This profound shift from the bustling sensory world to the quiet, solitary reality of the grave is immediate and absolute. All worldly possessions, relationships, and achievements become irrelevant. The individual is left with nothing but their deeds, their faith, and the state of their heart. This sudden isolation can be deeply unsettling, even terrifying, as the soul grapples with its new confined existence. The sounds of the living world fade, replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the whispers of the unseen. It is a moment of intense introspection, whether voluntary or forced, as the soul begins to understand the true nature of its eternal journey. The initial fear and anticipation within this new dwelling are palpable. For some, it is a fear of the unknown, a trepidation about what awaits them in this intermediary realm. For others, it is a dread of the consequences of their actions, an understanding that their past life will now be laid bare and judged. The questions posed by the angels Munkar and Nakir concerning one's Lord, religion, and prophet loom large, defining the immediate experience of the grave. This period in the grave, known as Barzakh, is not merely a passive waiting. It is an active experience of reward or punishment, a spiritual preview of the ultimate destinations of paradise or hell. The grave, therefore, is not an end, but a crucial transformative beginning, setting the stage for the eternal existence that lies beyond. The soul's experience within Barzakh is profoundly individualized, a direct consequence of the life it led. For the righteous, the grave transforms into a tranquil garden, a spacious and illuminated sanctuary. The earth, which once seemed to press in, recedes, making space for comfort and peace. They are met not with dread, but with serene assurance, their faith a luminous shield against any fear. The questions of Munkar and Nakir become opportunities for affirmation, their answers flowing naturally from a heart that consistently acknowledged God, followed his guidance, and loved his prophet. The air within their grave fills with the sweet fragrance of paradise, and a window opens, offering a glimpse of the eternal bliss that awaits them, a foretaste of their ultimate reward. Their slumber is likened to that of a bride or groom, undisturbed and serene, awaiting the joyous reunion of the Day of Judgment. Conversely, for those who lived lives of defiance and disbelief, the grave becomes a constricted, suffocating dungeon. The earth itself seems to conspire against them, pressing in until their ribs intertwine. The darkness is absolute, a palpable weight that crushes the spirit. Their answers to the angels' questions are stammered and confused, born of a life that denied truth and rejected guidance. They are met with a terrifying visage, their torment beginning immediately. The grave is filled with the stench of hellfire, and a window opens, revealing the horrors that await them, a constant reminder of their impending doom. Their slumber is tormented, filled with regret and anguish, a prelude to the eternal suffering they have earned. This stark contrast underscores the critical importance of one's deeds and beliefs in this earthly life, as they directly sculpt the immediate post-mortem reality. Barzakh is not a static state of being, it is a dynamic waiting period, a bridge between two worlds, where the soul experiences a taste of its ultimate destiny. The duration of this period is unknown to humanity, stretching from the moment of burial until the trumpet's final blast on the Day of Judgment. During this time, the soul retains a form of consciousness, aware of its surroundings to varying degrees. The righteous may receive visits from other souls in Barzakh, sharing news and comfort, though their interaction with the living world is limited. They reside in a state of spiritual elevation, their deeds continuing to bring them benefit even after death. The prayers and supplications of their living loved ones can reach them, offering solace and increasing their comfort in the grave. For the wicked, Barzakh is a period of sustained punishment, a continuous cycle of regret and torment. They are unable to benefit from the prayers of the living, their connection to goodness severed by their own actions. Their awareness is often one of profound despair, realizing the consequences of their life choices with agonizing clarity. This interim period serves as a potent reminder of divine justice, where no deed, good or ill, goes unacknowledged. The grave, therefore, is not merely a holding cell, but an active arena of spiritual consequence, a place where the soul truly begins to reap what it has sown, albeit in a preliminary form. The experiences within Barzakh are a powerful testament to the continuity of existence and the inescapable accountability that awaits every individual. The tranquility or torment of Barzakh will one day be shattered by an event of cosmic scale, the first blast of the trumpet. This momentous occasion, announced by the angel Israfil, marks the end of all earthly life and the beginning of the final chapter of existence. The Quran describes this event with awe-inspiring imagery, depicting a universe in chaos. Mountains will crumble, oceans will boil, and the heavens will be rent asunder. Every living creature, from the smallest insect to the mightiest beast, will perish. The very fabric of reality will unravel, signaling the absolute dominion of God and the utter insignificance of all creation before his power. This first blast is a universal death, a complete cessation of all life on earth and in the heavens. It is a moment of profound terror and absolute finality for all temporal existence. The souls in Barzakh, whether in comfort or torment, will also experience a form of cessation, a temporary pause in their individual experiences as the entire universe undergoes this cataclysmic transformation. The world as we know it will cease to be, paving the way for a new creation, a new reality designed for the eternal reckoning. This event underscores the temporary nature of this life and the ultimate power of the Creator to bring all things to an end, only to resurrect them again for a greater purpose. After an indeterminate period, known only to God, the trumpet will sound a second time. This blast, distinct from the first, will herald the resurrection of all humanity. From the dust and scattered remains of their earthly bodies, every soul will be called forth to stand before their Creator. This is not a gradual process, but a sudden, instantaneous reassembly of bodies, infused once more with their respective souls. The earth will split open, giving forth its former inhabitants, who will rise bewildered and disoriented, as if waking from a deep sleep. The Quran vividly portrays this scene, with people emerging from their graves like locusts spreading abroad. Each individual will be resurrected in the form they died, whether young or old, healthy or ailing, though without any physical defects or imperfections. They will be naked and uncircumcised, a state of utter vulnerability and equality before God. This universal resurrection is a testament to God's infinite power to bring life from death, to restore what was lost, and to hold every soul accountable for its deeds. It is the beginning of the ultimate assembly, the grand gathering where all of humanity, from Adam to the last person to die, will stand together, awaiting judgment. The air will be thick with anticipation, fear, and hope, as billions upon billions of souls converge on the vast, boundless plain of gathering. Immediately following the burial, a profound and terrifying encounter awaits the soul in the grave. Two formidable angels, Munkar and Nakir, descend upon the deceased. Their appearance is awe-inspiring and formidable, with dark faces, piercing eyes, and voices like thunder. They arrive with an authority that leaves no room for doubt or evasion, their presence alone a stark reminder of the gravity of the moment. These aren't gentle guides, but stern interrogators, tasked with uncovering the true essence of the soul's earthly life. They will pose three fundamental questions to every soul, questions that cut to the very core of one's belief and identity. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is your prophet? These are not mere academic queries. They are spiritual tests designed to reveal the sincerity and depth of a person's faith and actions in the world. The answers to these questions are not to be memorized, but are to flow from the very being of the soul, a reflection of its ingrained convictions and lived experience. For the righteous, those who lived a life of faith, obedience, and good deeds, the answers will come clearly and effortlessly. Their hearts, illuminated by their devotion to God, will guide their tongues. They will proclaim, "My Lord is Allah, my religion is Islam, and my prophet is Muhammad, peace be upon him." These answers will be delivered with certainty and conviction, not from rote learning, but from a true understanding and embodiment of these principles during their lifetime. The angels will then confirm the truth of their words, acknowledging their steadfastness. Conversely, the disbeliever or the hypocrite will find themselves utterly incapable of answering. Their tongues will be tied, their minds clouded by confusion and fear. Despite having heard these truths throughout their lives, their hearts never truly embraced them, and their actions never reflected genuine belief. They will stammer, "Alas, alas, I do not know," or simply repeat what they heard others say, without any inner conviction. The angels will then declare, "You neither knew nor followed," exposing the emptiness of their claims and the hollowness of their faith. The immediate consequences of this interrogation are stark and immediate, shaping the soul's experience within the grave. For the righteous, their grave will expand, becoming spacious and filled with light, a verdant garden stretching as far as the eye can see. A window will open, offering them a glimpse of their future abode in paradise, filling their hearts with peace and anticipation. For the disbeliever or hypocrite, however, the grave will constrict, crushing their ribs together, and it will be filled with darkness and suffocating heat. A window will open for them as well, but it will reveal the terrifying flames of hellfire, filling them with dread and despair, a foretaste of the torment that awaits them. This initial judgment sets the tone for their entire existence in Barzakh, a direct and inescapable consequence of their earthly choices. This period of waiting, known as Barzakh, is not a static state but a dynamic one, filled with either immense pleasure or excruciating pain, depending on the individual's deeds in the worldly life. It is a realm where souls experience a preliminary taste of their ultimate destination. For the believers, the grave transforms into a sanctuary of peace, a tranquil resting place where they are not truly alone. Their good deeds manifest as companions, beautiful figures who alleviate any sense of loneliness or fear. Imagine a radiant figure, emanating light and a sweet fragrance, sitting beside the deceased, comforting them and engaging them in pleasant conversation. This companion, a personification of their prayers, charity or kindness, offers solace and reassurance, making the long wait until the day of judgment feel like a brief pleasant slumber. They are shown glimpses of their rewards, the lush gardens and flowing rivers of paradise, further enhancing their joy and anticipation. Sleep for them is a profound and rejuvenating experience, a deep rest from the trials of worldly life, undisturbed by any anxiety or regret. They might dream of their loved ones, or of the wondrous scenes of the afterlife, all contributing to their sense of contentment. Conversely, for the wicked, Barzakh is a period of relentless suffering. Their evil deeds take on terrifying forms, grotesque companions that inflict constant torment. Envision a hideous figure, emanating foul odours and a chilling presence, pressing in on the deceased, filling them with dread and despair. This torment is not merely psychological, it is often depicted as physical, a continuous assault on their senses. The grave, having already constricted, becomes a place of unimaginable claustrophobia. They are subjected to the relentless heat of a fire that, while not the full intensity of hell, is a searing prelude. Their sleep, if it can be called that, is filled with nightmares and terror, a constant replay of their transgressions and the impending doom that awaits them. They are shown the horrors of hellfire, not as a fleeting image but as a vivid, agonizing reality, intensifying their fear and regret. The earth itself is said to press down upon them, and venomous creatures, scorpions and serpents, are sometimes depicted as agents of their torment, though these are often understood metaphorically as the painful consequences of their actions. It is important to note that the experience within Barzakh is not uniform for all. Martyrs, those who die in the path of God, hold a special status. They are not subjected to the interrogation of the angels in the same way, nor do they fully experience the confinement of the grave. Their souls are said to ascend immediately to a higher realm, dwelling in the crops of green birds that roam freely in paradise, feeding from its fruits and drinking from its rivers. This is a profound honor, a direct entry into a state of bliss, bypassing much of the Barzakh experience. Their sacrifice is so great that their reward is expedited, a testament to the immense value placed on their devotion and selflessness. They remain conscious and aware, not as lifeless bodies, but as vibrant souls enjoying the spiritual delights of the heavens, a continuous journey of divine favor. The concept of deeds accompanying the deceased in the grave is a powerful one, often illustrated through vivid imagery. Imagine a person whose life was dedicated to prayer. Their prayers, personified, become a source of light and comfort in the grave, illuminating the darkness and warding off fear. Similarly, charity given in this life might manifest as a cool shade, protecting the deceased from the oppressive heat. Fasting might appear as a refreshing drink, quenching their spiritual thirst. These are not mere abstract concepts, they are tangible manifestations of a person's spiritual legacy. Conversely, neglect of these duties leaves the deceased vulnerable, without the comforting presence of their good deeds. The absence of prayer might mean a deeper darkness, the lack of charity, an intensified heat. Every action, good or bad, has a lasting consequence that shapes the Barzakh experience, providing a continuous feedback loop of reward or retribution. Crucially, the souls in Barzakh retain a degree of awareness and consciousness. They can hear, to some extent, the footsteps of those who bury them as they depart from the grave. They can also hear the greetings and supplications of living relatives and friends who visit their graves. However, this awareness is not the same as their worldly perception. It is a different mode of existence, a spiritual consciousness that transcends the limitations of the physical body. They are aware of their state, their torment or bliss, and they keenly await the ultimate judgment. There are accounts of the deceased recognizing and even responding to salutations, though this interaction is often subtle and spiritual, not a direct verbal exchange. This limited awareness serves as a bridge, connecting the living and the dead in a spiritual continuum, reinforcing the idea that death is not an end, but a transition. The duration of Barzakh is an unknown, a period that stretches from the moment of burial until the sounding of the trumpet on the Day of Judgment. For some, it might feel like an instant, for others an eternity, depending on their spiritual state. Time in Barzakh is not measured by earthly clocks. It is a subjective experience, where 1,000 earthly years might feel like a day, or a day like 1,000 years. This subjective experience of time highlights the profound impact of one's deeds. For the righteous, the waiting is a pleasant anticipation, a brief interval before eternal joy. For the wicked, it is a prolonged agony, an unbearable prelude to even greater suffering. This period of waiting is a test of patience for some, a refinement of the soul for others, and a continuous punishment for those who transgressed. It is a testament to divine justice, where every soul receives a taste of what awaits them, long before the final reckoning. As the world hurtles towards its appointed end, certain signs will precede the Day of Judgment, signaling the imminent conclusion of Barzakh for all souls. These signs are categorized into minor and major. The minor signs are numerous and have been unfolding gradually throughout history, often going unnoticed by those engrossed in worldly affairs. These include the widespread consumption of intoxicants, the proliferation of promiscuity, the increase in earthquakes, the spread of ignorance, the diminishing of knowledge, the rise of false prophets, and the building of tall structures by the Bedouins. These are societal shifts and natural phenomena that indicate a spiritual decline and a growing heedlessness among humanity. They serve as subtle warnings, nudging humanity to reflect and repent before the more dramatic and unmistakable major signs appear. These minor signs, though seemingly insignificant individually, collectively paint a picture of a world straying further from its divine purpose. The grave, far from being a mere burial site, transforms into a profound window to the afterlife for the departed soul. It becomes a vivid, immersive experience, offering direct glimpses, not just abstract notions, of either paradise or hell. This immediate vision is not an illusion but a tangible spiritual reality, a preview of the eternal abode awaiting each individual. The senses of the soul are heightened, making these visions intensely real and impactful, shaping their immediate experience within Barzakh. For the righteous, the transformation is one of profound comfort and expansive beauty. Their grave becomes a vast, verdant garden, bathed in soft, ethereal light. The air fills with a sweet, fragrant aroma, unlike any scent experienced in the earthly world, a perfume of paradise that soothes and delights the soul. The confines of the grave disappear, replaced by an open, boundless expanse, teeming with beauty and tranquility. This garden is not merely a visual spectacle, it is a sensory experience of peace, a foretaste of the boundless joys of Jannah. The soul reclines in comfort, surrounded by blessings, in a state of serene anticipation. Conversely, for the wrongdoer, the grave becomes a terrifying pit of fire, a suffocating enclosure of torment. The light is extinguished, replaced by oppressive darkness, punctuated by the searing glow of flames. The air becomes thick with the stench of sulfur and decay, a suffocating miasma that chokes the soul. The grave constricts, pressing in on the body and soul, crushing them with unbearable pressure until their ribs interlace. This is not a metaphorical fire, but a genuine spiritual torment, a tangible manifestation of the consequences of their worldly transgressions. The wrongdoer is plunged into a state of acute distress and suffering, a harrowing preview of the inferno that awaits them. A key concept for the righteous in Barzakh is that of sleep. This is not an unconscious slumber, but a state of peaceful repose, a tranquil waiting period for the grand awakening on the day of judgment. The righteous soul is granted comfort and serenity, experiencing a blessed rest, undisturbed by the anxieties and fears that plague the wicked. This sleep is a gift, a period of spiritual nourishment and replenishment, preparing them for the eternal bliss of paradise. They are aware of their surroundings, yet they are in a state of profound peace, much like a beloved child resting safely in their parents' arms. Throughout this period, both the righteous and the wrongdoer maintain an ongoing awareness of their spiritual state and the direct consequences of their worldly actions. The righteous soul understands that their current comfort is a direct result of their faith and good deeds, reinforcing their gratitude and anticipation. They see glimpses of their future abode, further solidifying their conviction and joy. The wrongdoer, however, is acutely aware that their torment is a just recompense for their sins and disobedience. They are shown glimpses of hellfire, intensifying their regret and dread. This constant awareness serves as a powerful testament to divine justice, where every individual immediately begins to experience the fruits of their earthly labor, long before the final reckoning. This continuous feedback loop of reward or retribution ensures that the soul is never truly detached from the implications of its past life. This period of Barzakh is not a static void, but a dynamic state, often described as a veil or a barrier between the worldly life and the ultimate afterlife. It is a realm where time, as we understand it, ceases to hold its earthly constraints. 1,000 years in Barzakh might feel like a fleeting moment, or a single day could stretch into an eternity, depending on the soul's condition. The intensity of this experience is profoundly personal, shaped by the individual's deeds and their relationship with the divine. For some, it is a tranquil garden filled with light and the scent of paradise. For others, it is a constricted, suffocating space filled with darkness and the anticipation of fiercer punishments. The concept of Barzakh also encompasses the questioning by the angels Munkar and Nakir, these two formidable angels described in traditions as having voices like thunder and eyes like lightning. Visit the deceased in their graves. Their purpose is to interrogate the soul about its fundamental beliefs and actions. The questions are direct and profound. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? For the righteous, these questions are easily answered, their faith having been firmly rooted in their hearts. Their responses flow naturally, guided by divine assistance, and their grave expands, filled with light, offering a foretaste of paradise. The righteous soul is then shown its place in Jannah, a vista of unimaginable beauty and peace, further cementing their joy and anticipation. Conversely, for those who lived lives of disbelief or hypocrisy, these questions become an insurmountable challenge. Their tongues falter, their minds grow blank, and they are unable to articulate the answers that would bring them solace. Their grave then constricts around them, pressing in until their ribs intertwine, a terrifying prelude to the torments of hellfire. They are shown their destined place in Jahannam, a horrifying vision of searing flames and unimaginable suffering. Intensifying their despair and regret, this interrogation is a critical moment, a spiritual audit that immediately categorizes the soul and sets the tone for its experience in Barzakh. It is a testament to the Islamic belief that accountability begins the moment one leaves this world, not just on the day of judgment. The grave itself is not merely a physical resting place. It transforms into either a garden from the gardens of paradise, or a pit from the pits of hell. This transformation is not a metaphorical one, but a spiritual reality experienced by the soul. For the believer, their grave becomes spacious and illuminated, a place of comfort and serenity. They are visited by pleasant breezes and fragrant scents from paradise, and their sleep is likened to that of a bride or groom on their wedding night, undisturbed and blissful. Their good deeds, personified as a beautiful companion, keep them company, offering solace and conversation. This companion is a direct manifestation of their righteous actions, a tangible reward for their piety and devotion. However, for the disbeliever or the sinner, the grave becomes a place of intense torment and constriction. It is filled with darkness, heat, and the stench of hellfire. Their grave presses upon them, crushing them, and they are tormented by creatures sent to inflict pain and suffering. Their bad deeds, personified as a repulsive and terrifying companion, accompany them, constantly reminding them of their transgressions and intensifying their fear. This companion is a direct manifestation of their evil actions, a constant source of dread and despair. The experience in the grave, therefore, is a direct and immediate consequence of one's worldly life, a precursor to the ultimate judgment. It is a period of waiting, but a waiting filled with either profound peace or agonizing torment, dependent entirely on the path chosen in the earthly existence. The duration of a soul's stay in Barzakh is indeterminate, lasting until the Day of Judgment. During this time, souls can interact with each other to a limited extent, particularly those of similar spiritual standing. Righteous souls may visit one another, conversing about their past lives and anticipating their reunion in paradise. Similarly, the souls of the wicked may encounter each other, sharing in their misery and dread. There are also accounts of souls being able to perceive events in the worldly life, though their ability to intervene is typically non-existent. For instance, the prayers and supplications of the living for the deceased are believed to reach them, offering some comfort or alleviation of suffering. This highlights the ongoing connection between the living and the dead, emphasizing the importance of remembrance and prayer for those who have passed on. Furthermore, the concept of Barzakh underscores the justice and mercy of Allah. Even in this intermediate realm, there is a clear distinction between the righteous and the unrighteous, a preliminary taste of what is to come. For those who committed minor sins but were otherwise believers, their time in Barzakh might involve a period of purification, a cleansing process that prepares them for the ultimate reward. This purification could involve experiencing some discomfort or regret, but it is ultimately a benevolent process designed to remove the stains of sin before they enter paradise. It is a testament to divine compassion, offering a chance for refinement even after death, before the final, irreversible judgment. The experiences in Barzakh are thus not arbitrary, but perfectly tailored to each individual's spiritual state and their accumulated deeds. The souls residing in Barzakh possess a unique capacity for awareness and, in specific instances, communication, particularly among the righteous. When a new soul arrives in Barzakh, it is met with recognition by those already present, a spiritual gathering that transcends earthly limitations. These established souls, especially the righteous, greet the newcomer, eager to inquire about the state of the living world and the well-being of their loved ones still on earth. They ask about specific individuals by name, demonstrating a continued connection and concern for those they left behind. This interaction highlights a profound spiritual bond that persists beyond death. Where the departed remain invested in the lives of their families and friends, their inquiries often revolve around the piety and steadfastness of the living, reflecting their hope that their descendants continue on the path of righteousness. A poignant aspect of this interaction is the sharing of news between the newly arrived and the long departed. The fresh soul brings tidings from the living world, updating those in Barzakh on events and the fates of individuals. If the news is of a loved one's continued devotion and good deeds, joy spreads among the departed. Conversely, news of deviation or hardship can bring sorrow to the souls, underscoring their enduring emotional ties. This exchange of information serves as a testament to the interconnectedness of existence, where the veil between life and Barzakh, while substantial, is not entirely opaque to certain spiritual perceptions. It is a reminder that the actions of the living have a ripple effect, reaching even into the intermediate realm and influencing the spiritual state of those who have passed on. The concern of the dead for their loved ones extends beyond mere curiosity. It encompasses a deep spiritual solicitude. They pray for the well-being and guidance of their living relatives, hoping they will avoid pitfalls and remain firm in their faith. This concern is particularly acute if they learn of someone straying from the path of Islam or facing significant trials. The souls in Barzakh, having experienced the consequences of their own actions, understand the gravity of earthly choices and wish only the best for those they cherish. This spiritual empathy illustrates a continuous, albeit altered, form of familial and communal bond, where the departed continue to play a role, albeit a passive one, in the spiritual welfare of their progeny. Among the souls in Barzakh, a special status is accorded to the spirits of the martyrs, These heroic individuals who sacrifice their lives in the path of Allah are not confined to the general state of Barzakh in the same way as others. Instead, their spirits are described as residing within green birds, soaring through the expanse of paradise. These birds nest in lamps suspended beneath the throne of Allah, drinking from the rivers of paradise and partaking of its fruits. This imagery conveys a state of perpetual bliss and freedom, a direct reward for their ultimate sacrifice. The martyrs' souls are thus in a higher spiritual echelon, enjoying a direct and immediate connection to the divine presence, a foretaste of the ultimate reward in Jannah. Their unique abode signifies their exalted status and the immense value placed on their sacrifice in Islamic theology. The deeds and prayers of the living hold significant weight and can directly reach and benefit the souls in Barzakh. When a living person performs a good deed, offers a prayer, or gives charity with the intention that its reward reaches a deceased loved one, this benefit is believed to be conveyed to the departed soul. This concept emphasizes the ongoing spiritual connection and the power of supplication. Acts such as reciting the Quran for the deceased, offering specific du'as, or giving sadaqah on their behalf are all considered means by which the living can alleviate suffering or increase the rewards of those in Barzakh. It acts as a lifeline, a continuous stream of blessings that can lighten the burden or enhance the comfort of the departed. This mechanism underscores the reciprocal nature of spiritual life, where the living can continue to impact the spiritual journey of the dead. This ability of the living to benefit the dead reinforces the idea that death does not sever all ties. Instead, it transforms them, allowing for a different kind of interaction and mutual support. The prayers of a child for their parents, for instance, are particularly potent and cherished by the deceased, as they signify a lasting legacy of righteousness. Similarly, ongoing acts of charity in the name of the deceased, such as building a well or establishing an endowment, continue to generate rewards for them long after their passing. This concept provides comfort to the living, offering a tangible way to honor their departed loved ones and contribute to their well-being in the afterlife. It also serves as a motivator for the living to maintain their own piety, knowing that their good deeds can extend beyond themselves to benefit those who have gone before them. The distinction in Barzakh between the righteous and the unrighteous is stark, even in their capacity for interaction. While righteous souls may visit each other and converse joyfully, the souls of the wicked are often depicted as being in isolation or in the company of others who share their misery, with little to no solace in their interactions. Their spiritual state is one of regret and apprehension, and any communication among them would likely reflect their shared despair rather than comfort or joy. This contrast further emphasizes the immediate consequences of one's earthly life, where even the social dynamics of the intermediate realm are shaped by one's deeds. The righteous find companionship and peace, while the wicked experience continued torment, even in their solitude or forced associations. Ultimately, the understanding of souls interacting in Barzakh paints a picture of an afterlife that is dynamic and interconnected, rather than static and isolated. It highlights the enduring power of faith, family ties, and good deeds. The ability of souls to recognize each other, share news, and express concern for the living, combined with the power of the living's prayers to reach the dead, creates a continuous spiritual tapestry. This tapestry is woven with threads of remembrance, hope, and consequence, illustrating that the journey after death is not a solitary one, but a complex interplay of individual accountability and communal spiritual support, all unfolding under the watchful eye of the divine. The soul's journey after death is not a singular, isolated event, but a continuous process, immediately transitioning from the physical world into the unseen realm of Barzakh. This initial phase is marked by the interrogation of the two angels Munkar and Nakir, an experience that sets the tone for the soul's stay in the grave. The very moment the last mourner departs from the burial site, leaving the deceased alone, these formidable angels arrive, their presence both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They approach with a stern demeanor, their voices resonating with authority as they pose fundamental questions about one's faith and life. These questions are direct and probing. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? For the righteous, these questions are answered with clarity and conviction, their hearts filled with the remembrance of God, Islam, and the Prophet Muhammad. Their responses flow effortlessly, a testament to their unwavering faith and righteous deeds during their earthly existence. As a result, their grave expands, becoming a spacious and luminous abode, filled with tranquility and the sweet scent of paradise. They are granted a glimpse of their future dwelling in the gardens of bliss, and a window opens, allowing the refreshing breezes of heaven to comfort them until the day of judgment. This peaceful repose is a reward for their devotion and a taste of the eternal joy that awaits them. Conversely, for those who lived a life of disbelief, hypocrisy, or rebellion against divine commands, the interrogation is a harrowing ordeal. Their tongues falter, their minds clouded by confusion and dread. They stammer, unable to articulate the answers that would have saved them from torment. They might repeat what they heard others say in life. "I don't know, I heard people say something." But without true conviction, their words hold no weight. Consequently, their grave constricts, pressing in on them until their ribs intertwine, a horrifying compression that reflects the narrowness of their spiritual vision in life. The grave becomes a pit of fire, filled with suffocating heat and noxious fumes, and a window opens to reveal their destined place in hellfire, bringing forth its scorching heat and despair. This torment is a direct consequence of their rejection of truth and their indulgence in sin, a precursor to the greater punishment that awaits them on the day of judgment. This immediate post-burial experience underscores the profound significance of one's earthly life and the immediate consequences of one's choices. It serves as a powerful reminder that death is not an end but a doorway to a new phase of existence, where every deed, every belief, and every intention is brought to account. The comfort or torment experienced in the grave is not arbitrary but a just reflection of the soul's preparation for eternity. The angels Munkar and Nakir act as divine interrogators, their questions serving as a final test of faith before the soul settles into its temporary abode in Barzakh, awaiting the grand resurrection. The grave, a space both confining and revealing, offers a chilling preview of the punishments awaiting those who strayed from the path of righteousness. It is here, within the confines of Barzakh, that the consequences of worldly transgressions begin to manifest with visceral clarity. The angels, ever present and unwavering in their duty, oversee these torments, their pronouncements echoing with an otherworldly authority. "Move on," they command, their voices resonating through the spiritual landscape, before revealing the next grim vision. Consider the individual who during their earthly life habitually neglected their prayers, letting the sacred calls to devotion pass by unheard and unheeded. For them, the angels present a terrifying scene, a head being repeatedly smashed with a heavy stone, only to reform and be shattered anew. This agonizing cycle continues without respite, a direct and horrifying consequence for abandoning the fundamental pillar of prayer, a constant reminder of the spiritual connection they willfully severed. "Move on," the angels declare, their gaze unwavering, as the next chilling tableau unfolds. Next, the vision shifts to those whose tongues were sharp instruments of destruction, engaging in slander, backbiting, and spreading discord among people. For such a soul, a gruesome punishment is unveiled. An iron hook is thrust through the corners of their mouth, tearing it open and dragging it to the back of their head. The hook is then pulled out, only to be reinserted and dragged through the other side. An excruciating and perpetual torment that mirrors the pain and division their words inflicted upon others. The moral lesson is stark and undeniable. The words we utter carry immense weight, capable of either building or destroying, and in Barzakh their true impact is laid bare. "Move on," the angels intone, the air thick with the weight of divine justice. Then a scene of unimaginable horror unfolds for those who engaged in usury, accumulating wealth through exploitative interest and preying on the financial vulnerabilities of others. Before their eyes, a river of blood appears, its crimson current swirling with the grotesque forms of those who partook in this forbidden practice. They are forced to swim in this river, their efforts futile as they attempt to escape its viscous depths, only to be met with stones hurled at them from the banks, forcing them back into the agonizing flow. Each time they struggle towards the shore, they are repelled, ensuring their perpetual immersion in the consequences of their greed. This torment vividly illustrates the defilement of wealth acquired through illicit means, a direct reflection of the spiritual impurity they embraced in life. "Move on," comes the solemn command, as the visions continue to reveal the intricate tapestry of divine retribution. For those who consumed the flesh of others through gossip and backbiting, a repulsive sight awaits. They are shown their own rotten flesh, which they are compelled to devour, a horrifying embodiment of how they metaphorically consumed the honor and reputation of their fellow human beings. The stench is unbearable, the taste revolting, Yet they are forced to partake in this gruesome feast, experiencing the literal consequence of their destructive words. This torment serves as a powerful reminder of the sanctity of a person's reputation and the severe repercussions for those who disregard it. Move on, the angels declare, their voices unwavering. The gluttons, those who indulged excessively in worldly pleasures and hoarded wealth without fulfilling their obligations to the needy, face a different kind of anguish. They are depicted with distended bellies, so swollen that they struggle to move, their bodies a grotesque monument to their insatiable appetites. They are then shown being dragged through the fires of Barzakh, their bloated forms making their suffering all the more pronounced. This imagery underscores the transient nature of worldly possessions and the spiritual emptiness that often accompanies excessive materialism. Move on, the command echoes, as the next scene of reckoning is brought forth. For the adulterers and fornicators, those who engaged in illicit sexual relations, a fiery pit is revealed. They are shown in a state of nakedness, trapped within this burning inferno, their bodies consumed by flames. The intensity of the heat and the shame of their exposure are magnified, reflecting the gravity of their transgressions against the sanctity of marriage and family. This torment serves as a stark warning against succumbing to carnal desires outside the bounds of lawful relationships, highlighting the destructive impact of such actions on both the individual and society. Move on, the angels command, their presence a constant reminder of divine justice. Those who bore false witness, fabricating testimonies to unjustly harm others or gain personal advantage, are confronted with a chilling vision. Their tongues are shown to be excessively long, dragging on the ground, and they are trampled upon by others, a symbolic representation of how their lies debased truth and integrity. This agonizing experience highlights the profound importance of honesty and the severe consequences of manipulating the truth for personal gain. Move on, the angels declare, as the final visions of Barzakh's torments are unveiled. These systematic revelations are not mere spectacle, they are carefully orchestrated lessons, each torment directly linked to the worldly transgression it punishes. They serve as a powerful and undeniable testament to the principle of divine justice, where every action, every intention, and every word is meticulously recorded and accounted for. The moral lessons embedded within these visions are profound, urging reflection on the importance of prayer, the sanctity of speech, the dangers of usury, the value of honesty, and the consequences of moral decay. The experience in Barzakh is not an arbitrary punishment, but a direct visceral manifestation of the spiritual state cultivated during one's earthly life. It is a terrifying yet instructive preview, a precursor to the ultimate reckoning on the Day of Judgment, designed to underscore the gravity of human choices and the omnipresence of divine oversight. While the wicked endure their ghastly previews, a vastly different experience unfolds for the righteous souls in Barzakh. For them, death is not an end but a liberation, a transition into a realm of peace and anticipation. These are the individuals who lived lives of devotion, upholding justice, showing compassion, and striving always for God's pleasure. Their graves, unlike the constricting confines of the wicked, expand into vast, serene gardens. Imagine a boundless expanse of lush greenery, where the air is fragrant with the sweet scent of musk and amber, and gentle breezes carry whispers of peace. It is a place where tranquility reigns supreme, a stark contrast to the fiery pits and crushing darkness that plague the transgressors. The righteous are not left in solitude. They are visited by angels, not as tormentors but as guides and companions. These celestial beings bring glad tidings, reassuring them of their ultimate reward and praising their earthly deeds. The atmosphere is one of profound comfort and honor, a recognition of their steadfastness and sincere faith. Their bodies, though interred, are not subject to decay in the same way as others. Instead, they are said to be preserved, a testament to their purity and the sanctity of their lives. This preservation is not merely physical, it extends to their spiritual state, which remains vibrant and full of hope. Furthermore, the righteous are granted a unique privilege. They are shown glimpses of their future abode in paradise. These are not terrifying visions, but breathtaking panoramas of eternal bliss. They see crystal rivers flowing with milk and honey, trees laden with fruits of every description, and palaces adorned with precious gems. They hear the melodious calls of birds and the gentle rustle of leaves, all echoing the promise of unending joy. These visions serve as a powerful reinforcement of their faith, and a sweet foretaste of the rewards that await them. It is a period of joyful anticipation, a time for their souls to acclimate to the serene environment of the afterlife, far removed from the trials and tribulations of the earthly realm. The interaction with other righteous souls is another distinguishing feature of their Barzakh experience. It is believed that the souls of the departed can communicate with one another, sharing stories of their earthly lives and discussing the divine wisdom behind their journeys. This communion offers solace and companionship, creating a spiritual community that transcends the boundaries of life and death. They are not alone in their waiting, but part of a blessed assembly, all eagerly awaiting the ultimate reunion with their Lord. This communal aspect underscores the Islamic emphasis on brotherhood and sisterhood, even in the afterlife, highlighting the bonds of faith that unite believers across time and space. While the previous chapters detailed the grim realities awaiting those who strayed, a profound shift in perspective now brings comfort and hope, revealing the boundless mercy that awaits the deserving. Imagine a realm where divine grace paints a landscape of unparalleled serenity, a stark contrast to the oppressive darkness and torment. Here, the narrative turns to scenes of pure, unadulterated comfort, a testament to the fact that even in the intermediate state, God's compassion is ever present for those who earned it. This is the realm where the souls of the righteous find solace and peace, a truly blessed interlude before their ultimate reward. Within this serene expanse lies a vast garden, not merely a patch of green, but an expansive paradise stretching beyond the limits of human comprehension, where the souls of righteous children and believers are tenderly sheltered. This is a sanctuary free from the anxieties and trials of the earthly existence, a place of pure joy and innocent repose. The air here is perpetually fresh, carrying the scent of blooming flowers and sweet fruits, and the sounds are of gentle breezes and the melodious chirping of unseen birds. It is a haven designed by divine benevolence, ensuring that these pure souls experience nothing but peace. A particularly poignant vision within this garden reveals Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, standing watch over these innocent souls. He is depicted as a loving guardian, a figure of immense compassion and wisdom, personally tending to the spiritual well-being of the believing children who have departed from this world. His presence offers immense comfort, signifying a direct connection to divine care and protection. He nurtures them, teaches them, and prepares them for their ultimate reunion with their families in paradise, ensuring their spiritual growth continues even in Barzakh. This imagery reinforces the profound love and care that God extends to the most vulnerable among His creation. The emotional relief provided by these visions of peace, especially after the intense descriptions of punishment and suffering, is immeasurable. It is a powerful reminder that while justice is absolute, mercy is equally vast and ever-encompassing. The contrast highlights the duality of divine attributes, demonstrating that every action, whether good or ill, receives its just recompense. For those who lived righteously, even their waiting period is filled with grace, a testament to the profound connection they forged with their Creator during their earthly lives. This balance offers a profound sense of reassurance to believers, tempering any fear with the knowledge of God's boundless love. This beautiful depiction reinforces the hope side of faith, illustrating that mercy is always present for the deserving. It is a beacon of light, guiding believers through their lives with the assurance that their struggles and sacrifices for the sake of God will never be in vain. The concept of this tranquil garden and the guardianship of Prophet Ibrahim serves as a powerful motivator for parents to raise their children in faith, knowing that even in death, their little ones are embraced by divine care and love. It transforms the concept of Barzakh from a place of universal apprehension into a space of potential serenity and joyful anticipation for those who walked the path of righteousness. The righteous souls, whether children or adults, are not merely passive residents of this garden. They are conscious, aware, and capable of experiencing true bliss. They interact with each other, sharing stories of their lives and the wisdom they gained, all under the gentle guidance of the angels and prophets assigned to their care. Their existence in this garden is a continuous preparation for the ultimate reward of Jannah, a spiritual schooling that further refines their souls and deepens their understanding of divine love and wisdom. This experience in Barzakh is a direct extension of their good deeds, a tangible manifestation of the blessings they accumulated. Consider the profound impact this vision has on a believer facing the loss of a child. The knowledge that their innocent offspring is not merely gone, but cradled in a divine garden under the watchful eye of a beloved prophet, offers an unparalleled solace. It transforms grief into a hopeful anticipation of reunion, a testament to the continuity of love and connection beyond the boundaries of this world. This specific aspect of Barzakh underscores Islam's compassionate understanding of human emotions and its provision of spiritual remedies for earthly sorrows. It reaffirms the belief that every life, no matter how short, holds profound meaning in the eyes of the Creator. The existence of this realm of relief also serves as a critical counterpoint to the torments of the unrighteous. It highlights the stark spiritual divergence that occurs immediately after death, emphasizing that the choices made in this life have immediate and profound consequences. The righteous are not spared the transition of death, but their experience of it is one of profound ease and grace, a gentle passage into an awaiting paradise. This contrast is not meant to instill fear alone, but to inspire devotion and ethical conduct, promising a beautiful outcome for those who strive for piety and goodness. Thus, the journey through Barzakh is not uniformly grim. For those who dedicated their lives to God, who nurtured their faith and their families, who upheld justice and showed compassion, Barzakh is a period of rest, peace and joyous anticipation. It is a foretaste of the eternal gardens, a gentle breeze from paradise, and a loving embrace from the divine. This balance of justice and mercy, of punishment and reward, paints a complete picture of the afterlife, reminding humanity of the ever-present hope that permeates Islamic belief, even in the unseen realms beyond physical existence. It is a powerful affirmation that ultimately, for the sincere divine mercy will always prevail. As the world continues its rotation, oblivious to the individual journeys unfolding in Barzakh, cosmic gears are slowly turning towards an even grander, more universal culmination, the Day of Judgment. Before that ultimate reckoning, however, a series of profound transformations and societal shifts, known as the minor signs, will begin to manifest subtly at first, then with increasing clarity, signaling the nearing end of times. These are not cataclysmic events in themselves, but rather indicators of a decaying moral fabric, a departure from divine guidance, and a world spiraling towards imbalance. One of the most frequently cited minor signs is the proliferation of ignorance and the decline of religious knowledge. It is foretold that true scholars will diminish in number, replaced by those who speak without understanding, leading people astray. This isn't merely about a lack of formal education, but a spiritual illiteracy, where the profound wisdom of faith is lost amid superficial pursuits. Alongside this intellectual decline, a striking increase in materialism and worldly desires is predicted, where people will compete fiercely for transient possessions, neglecting their spiritual duties and familial bonds. The pursuit of wealth will become an obsession, eclipsing ethical considerations and fostering an environment of greed and exploitation. This shift in priorities will manifest in various ways, from rampant consumerism to economic systems that prioritize profit over human well-being, further widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Furthermore, the breakdown of social order and the increase in widespread corruption are also considered significant minor signs. Trust will erode, honesty will become rare, and deceit will become commonplace in dealings, both personal and public. It is a world where the virtuous are sidelined and the corrupt rise to power, leading to widespread injustice and oppression. The erosion of traditional family values and the increase in societal promiscuity also feature prominently among the minor signs. Bonds of kinship will weaken, respect for elders will diminish, and moral boundaries regarding sexual conduct will blur. This isn't just about individual choices, but a societal trend that undermines the very foundations of community and ethical living, leading to increased disharmony and psychological distress. Moreover, the prevalence of intoxicants and widespread gambling are also foretold, indicating a society that seeks escape and fleeting pleasure over meaningful engagement and responsibility. These vices, once considered taboo, will become normalized, further contributing to the moral decay and the deterioration of public health and well-being. Another intriguing minor sign speaks of buildings reaching dizzying heights, a metaphorical and literal race to construct ever taller structures, often at the expense of sustainable living and communal spaces. This architectural ambition reflects a human desire for dominance and grandeur, a physical manifestation of the ego's unchecked growth. Furthermore, the minor signs also include an increase in natural disasters such as earthquakes and floods, and the rapid passage of time where days and nights seem to fly by and years feel like months. These phenomena are not merely random occurrences, but are seen as divine reminders, subtle nudges towards reflection and repentance, urging humanity to re-evaluate its trajectory before the final hour. These numerous minor signs taken together paint a compelling picture of a world in transition, a slow but steady decline towards a pivotal moment. They serve as a constant warning, a call to introspection, and a reminder that while the future is uncertain, the signs are there for those who choose to see them. The world will eventually witness a series of monumental events, cataclysmic shifts that unequivocally herald the imminent arrival of the Day of Judgment, signifying the ultimate end of Barzakh and all intermediary states. These are the major signs, distinct from the gradual erosion of societal norms, and they will unfold with an undeniable grandeur, leaving no doubt about their divine origin and profound implications. Among the most anticipated and significant of these signs is the return of Isa, Jesus, peace be upon him, who will descend to earth to confront and ultimately defeat the Dajjal, the Antichrist. This event is not merely a historical reenactment, but a cosmic showdown between truth and falsehood, where Isa will break the cross, kill the swine, and abolish the jizya tax, restoring justice and peace to a world ravaged by deception. His return will mark a period of unprecedented tranquility and spiritual renewal, where wealth will be abundant, and humanity will live in harmony under the banner of divine guidance. Before Isa's return, the Dajjal himself will emerge, a figure of immense deception and power, capable of performing seemingly miraculous feats that will test the faith of humanity to its core. He will claim divinity, leading many astray with his false promises of paradise and threats of hellfire, his influence spreading rapidly across the globe. He will possess the ability to bring rain, make barren lands fertile, and command treasures to emerge from the earth, captivating the masses with his illusionary powers. However, his true nature will be apparent to the believers, who will recognize the word kafir, disbeliever, inscribed between his eyes, a mark invisible to those whose hearts are veiled by doubt. His reign of terror and deception will be a period of intense tribulation, forcing individuals to choose between worldly allure and unwavering faith, a final test of conviction before the ultimate reckoning. Following Isa's victory over the Dajjal, another formidable force will be unleashed upon the earth, Gog and Magog. These are two ancient destructive tribes, held back by a barrier constructed by Dhul Qarnayn, as mentioned in the Quran. Their emergence will be characterized by an overwhelming numerical superiority and an insatiable appetite for destruction, as they swarm across the land, devouring everything in their path and causing widespread chaos and corruption. No army will be able to withstand their onslaught, and humanity will be driven to seek refuge, praying for divine intervention. Their unchecked rampage will continue until, by the grace of God, a plague of worms will infest their necks, causing their demise and bringing an end to their destructive reign, leaving the earth littered with their decaying bodies. In addition to these monumental figures, a series of profound cosmic events will punctuate the end times. One of the most striking will be the sun rising from the west, a complete reversal of its natural course, symbolizing the closing of the door of repentance. This extraordinary phenomenon will serve as a definitive sign that the time for seeking forgiveness has passed, and the final judgment is at hand. No longer will belief or repentance be accepted, as the clarity of this sign will leave no room for doubt or willful ignorance. This cosmic aberration will mark a point of no return, a stark reminder of the finite nature of human opportunity and the ultimate sovereignty of the divine. Another significant sign will be the appearance of a massive smoke that will envelop the entire earth, causing discomfort and distress to believers and severe agony to disbelievers. This smoke will linger for a period, obscuring the sky and creating an atmosphere of foreboding, a tangible manifestation of the impending doom. It will be a visible sign of God's wrath and a prelude to the greater calamities that are yet to come, a universal experience that will unite humanity in its shared anticipation of the unknown. This pervasive haze will serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of existence and the ultimate power of the Creator to alter the very fabric of reality. Furthermore, a mysterious beast of the earth will emerge, a creature of immense size and unique characteristics, capable of speech and endowed with the ability to distinguish between believers and disbelievers. This beast will mark people, sealing the fate of individuals by branding them as either righteous or condemned. Its appearance will be a clear sign of the end of all worldly affairs, as it will speak to humanity in a clear tongue, confirming the truth of divine revelation and the certainty of the Day of Judgment. This enigmatic creature will be a final, undeniable testimony to the truth, leaving no room for skepticism or denial, a living miracle that will underscore the ultimate reality of accountability. These cosmic events will be followed by a series of localized yet devastating occurrences. 3 major land collapses or sinkholes will occur, one in the east, one in the west, and one in the Arabian Peninsula. These cataclysmic geological shifts will swallow vast tracts of land, serving as stark reminders of the Earth's instability and the impending dissolution of the physical world. These massive collapses will be a testament to the sheer power of the divine and the fragile nature of human existence, demonstrating that even the most solid ground can be made to tremble and disappear without warning. Finally, a fire will emerge from Yemen, driving humanity towards the gathering place for the Day of Judgment. This fire will be a relentless force, pushing people relentlessly towards a predetermined location, a fiery shepherd guiding the flock towards their ultimate destiny. This will be the last major sign, culminating in the first blowing of the trumpet by the angel Israfil, an earth-shattering sound that will signal the death of all creation, bringing an end to all life as we know it. Every living creature, from the smallest insect to the largest whale, and indeed every human being, will perish in an instant, leaving the universe in a state of absolute stillness, awaiting the next divine command. This first blast marks the complete cessation of all worldly existence, a profound silence that precedes the resurrection and the ultimate reckoning. Then, after an indeterminate period of profound stillness, the angel Israfil will sound the trumpet a second time. This blast, though equally powerful, will not bring death but rather life. From the dust and scattered remnants of their former selves, every soul that has ever lived will be resurrected, brought back to existence with their earthly bodies, albeit in a renewed and perfected form. Imagine the sheer scale of this event. Billions upon billions of individuals, spanning all of human history, suddenly reanimated. The ground will split open, not to swallow but to release, as bodies emerge from their graves, from the depths of the oceans, and from wherever their remains may have settled. This is not a slow, gradual awakening, but a sudden, simultaneous re-emergence, a divine command that instantaneously restores life to the deceased. Once resurrected, humanity will be gathered on a vast, flat plain, a land unlike any seen before. This will be the Masha, the ultimate assembly point, a boundless expanse where every human being, from Adam to the last person to die, will stand shoulder to shoulder. There will be no mountains, no valleys, no hiding places, only a level ground stretching as far as the eye can see. The sun, too, will be different on this day. It will draw incredibly close to the heads of humanity, intensifying its heat to an unbearable degree. People will be drenched in their own sweat, the level of which will vary according to their deeds in their earthly lives. For some, the sweat will reach their ankles, for others their knees, and for the most burdened, it will submerge them entirely. This physical discomfort will be a prelude to the spiritual and emotional intensity of the reckoning to come. Amidst this immense gathering and overwhelming heat, a profound sense of anxiety will prevail. Humanity, in its distress, will seek intercession from the prophets, hoping for someone to plead on their behalf with Allah to begin the judgment. They will approach Adam, then Noah, then Abraham, then Moses, and then Jesus, each one humbly declining, citing their own shortcomings, and directing humanity to the next prophet. Finally, they will come to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who will accept this immense responsibility. He will prostrate himself before Allah and offer a prayer known as the Grand Intercession, asking for the judgment to commence. This act of profound humility and compassion will alleviate the prolonged waiting and suffering of humanity, setting the stage for the next phase of the Day of Judgment. The first blowing of the trumpet will unleash a cataclysmic event, a sound so profound and absolute it will shatter the very fabric of existence. Every living being, from the mightiest angel to the tiniest microbe, will be struck down, their life force extinguished in an instant. The heavens will split, the stars will fall, and the mountains will crumble into dust. This is the ultimate end of all worldly life, a divine decree that brings about universal annihilation. Even the great angels, including until the final breath. It will not be a metaphorical book, but a literal compilation in a language that the individual will instantly understand, regardless of their earthly tongue. For some, receiving their book in their right hand will be a moment of immense relief and joy, a clear sign of their success and acceptance. They will eagerly display it to others, proclaiming their triumph, their faces radiant with happiness as they anticipate their reward. For others, the book will be delivered into their left hand or from behind their back, a terrifying omen of their impending fate. Their faces will contort with fear and despair, their hearts heavy with regret as they confront the undeniable truth of their transgressions. They will wish they had never been given their book, that their deeds had remained hidden, but there will be no escape from this ultimate reckoning. This vivid and inescapable record will serve as irrefutable evidence, leaving no room for denial or argument, as every individual stands as their own witness to the life they lived. The details will be so precise that it will be as if they are reliving every moment, every decision, every consequence, an experience both profound and terrifying. In this overwhelming moment, there will be a pivotal role for intercession, a divine mercy granted to certain individuals to plead on behalf of others. Prophets, righteous martyrs, and other chosen servants of God will be granted permission to intercede, but only for those whom God wills and approves. This is not a blanket forgiveness, but a specific act of grace, highlighting the immense spiritual status of those who are allowed to make such pleas. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, will have the greatest right of intercession, a testament to his unparalleled standing with God, a privilege known as the Great Intercession. His intercession will be for the commencement of the judgment itself, to alleviate the prolonged waiting and suffering of humanity on the plane. Yet even with intercession, the principle of individual accountability will remain paramount. Each soul will ultimately stand alone before their Creator, answering for their own choices and actions. There will be no passing of blame, no scapegoats, and no one to carry another's burden. The intricate web of relationships and dependencies that characterized earthly life will unravel, leaving each person to face their own destiny. This intense personal accountability underscores the importance of every choice made in the earthly life, emphasizing the profound impact of individual agency and moral responsibility in the eyes of the divine. The weight of this individual reckoning will be immense, a solitary confrontation with the consequences of one's entire existence. The plane of judgment, known as Mashar, stretches out as an unimaginably vast, featureless expanse, an endless, flat desert devoid of any landmarks, hills, or valleys. Above this immense gathering, the sun will bear down with an intensity unlike anything known on Earth, scorching and relentless. Yet there will be no shade available to anyone, save for those whom God, in His infinite mercy, chooses to shelter. This divine shade will be reserved for those who lived lives of profound piety and righteousness, a stark contrast to the suffering endured by the vast majority. Humanity, resurrected and gathered, will find themselves in wildly disparate states, reflecting the lives they led. Some will stand in comfort and serenity, their faces glowing with an inner peace, perhaps even dressed in garments of light, their hearts free from anxiety. These are the ones whose deeds in the earthly life earned them divine favor, and they will await their judgment with a sense of hopeful anticipation. Conversely, countless others will be in immense distress, their bodies contorted by fear, their faces etched with despair. They will be naked, thirsty, and terrified, their sweat pouring down in torrents, some even drowning in their own perspiration. Depending on the magnitude of their sins, the heat will be unbearable, the thirst agonizing, and the sheer number of beings overwhelming, creating an atmosphere of profound dread for those who neglected their duties to God and humanity. In this colossal assembly, there will be no possibility of escape, no hidden corners, no shadows in which to conceal oneself. Every single soul, from the dawn of creation to the final hour, will stand exposed before their Creator, their every action, intention, and thought laid bare for all to see. The illusion of privacy that earthly life afforded will vanish completely, replaced by an absolute transparency. The very ground beneath their feet will bear witness. The air they breathed, their limbs, and even their inner thoughts will testify against or for them. This complete exposure will be a terrifying reality for those who sought to hide their transgressions from the world, as now even their deepest secrets will be unveiled. As the resurrected masses gather, a long and agonizing wait will begin, a period of intense anxiety and anticipation unlike any other. The sheer duration of this waiting period is beyond human comprehension, stretching for what will feel like thousands of years. Though the perception of time will be distorted, during this prolonged suspension, people will experience varying degrees of suffering, their distress directly proportional to their earthly deeds. The righteous will find solace and ease, while the wicked will endure unimaginable torment, their fear and regret amplifying with every passing moment. This is the moment when the weight of their choices truly dawns upon them, a prelude to the final verdict. Amidst this vast multitude, the prophets and messengers will arrive, each bearing a unique and crucial role. They will come forward one after another as witnesses for their respective communities. Having delivered God's message and guided their people throughout history, each prophet will stand to testify that they conveyed the divine truth, that they warned their nations, and that they fulfilled their sacred trust. This collective testimony of the prophets will underscore the universality of God's message and the consistent guidance provided to humanity across all ages. Their presence will be a source of comfort for their followers, yet also a powerful reminder of the ultimate accountability for those who rejected their calls. The arrival of these revered figures will mark another significant stage in the unfolding drama of the Day of Judgment, leading closer to the moment when the scales of justice are finally brought forth. The stage is now set for the ultimate reckoning, a moment when every deed, every intention, and every whisper of the heart will be weighed with absolute precision. This is the bringing forth of the Mizan, the scales of justice, a divine apparatus that transcends any human understanding of measurement. It is not merely a metaphor. Islamic tradition describes it as a real colossal scale, so immense that its pans can encompass the heavens and the earth. Its operation is flawless, impartial, and utterly complete, designed to meticulously assess the entirety of a life lived. On one pan, the good deeds will be placed, shining brightly, perhaps embodied by the very records of actions written by the angels. On the other, the transgressions and shortcomings will be laid, dark and heavy, representing the weight of disobedience and neglect. Imagine the scene. Each individual standing before these awe-inspiring scales, witnessing their life's work being evaluated. It is said that even a single word of remembrance of God, a sincere prayer, or an act of kindness, no matter how small, will be given its due weight. the most great. This illustrates that even simple declarations of faith and praise carry profound significance in the divine calculus, underscoring that the true weight is not in volume, but in value and intention. For those whose book is given in their left hand, the experience is one of profound dread and despair. These are the ones who denied the truth, mocked the messengers, and lived lives of sin and transgression. They will receive their record from behind their backs, a humiliating and terrifying ordeal. As they behold the contents, they will cry out, "Oh, woe is me! I wish I had never been given my book. I wish I had never known my reckoning." Every misdeed, every forgotten sin, every moment of heedlessness will be laid bare before them. Their faces will be contorted in anguish, and their hearts will be filled with regret. They will see not only the major transgressions, but also the seemingly minor ones they dismissed, realizing that nothing was ever truly insignificant in the divine record. This meticulous accounting ensures that no soul can deny what it has done, for the evidence is irrefutable, inscribed by the angels who witnessed every moment. The concept of intercession, or shafa'ah, is a profound manifestation of divine mercy, always balancing the fear of judgment with the hope of forgiveness. While the scales of justice meticulously weigh every action, and the book of deeds lays bare every detail, God, in his infinite compassion, has also opened a door for certain individuals to plead on behalf of others. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, will lead this intercession, prostrating before God and begging for the judgment to commence for all humanity, and then specifically for his community. Beyond this grand intercession, prophets, martyrs, and even righteous children who died young may intercede for their loved ones. However, this is not a blanket guarantee. Intercession is only granted by God's permission, and for those whom he wills, it serves as a powerful reminder that while personal accountability is paramount, divine mercy can extend beyond our comprehension, offering a final chance for reprieve to those deemed worthy. This balance between justice and mercy shapes the ultimate outcome of the Day of Judgment, ensuring that while no injustice is tolerated, the hope for forgiveness remains eternally present. At the core of the Day of Judgment lies the unwavering principle of divine justice, where no injustice is tolerated and every right is meticulously restored. This means that not only will individuals be judged for their actions towards God, but also for their actions towards other human beings and even animals. Every slight, every oppression, every right withheld will be accounted for. If a person wronged another in the worldly life and failed to seek forgiveness or make amends, that wrong will be rectified on this day. The aggrieved party will be compensated, either by taking from the good deeds of the oppressor, or by having some of the oppressor's sins transferred to them. This ensures that true justice is served, and every soul receives its due. The scales of justice will not merely weigh good and bad deeds in isolation, but will also balance the scales of interpersonal relationships, ensuring that all grievances are settled. Even the smallest injustice, like a sheep without horns that was butted by a horned sheep, will see its right restored. This absolute commitment to justice underscores the gravity of our actions in this life, reminding us that every interaction, every word, and every deed carries profound consequences that will ultimately be brought to account. It is a day when every hidden truth will be revealed, and every act, whether public or private, will find its just recompense. This comprehensive accounting extends beyond mere human interactions, encompassing the treatment of all creatures. A person who starved an animal, or caused it undue suffering, will face divine scrutiny for that cruelty. Conversely, an act of kindness towards an animal, like providing water to a thirsty dog, will be recognized and rewarded. This intricate system of accountability highlights the holistic nature of Islamic justice, where compassion and responsibility are universal virtues, not limited to human society alone. The meticulous record-keeping of every action, intent, and consequence ensures that no deed, however small, escapes the divine ledger. It is a day when intentions behind actions will be laid bare, and a deed performed with sincerity, even if it appeared minor, will hold immense weight. Conversely, a seemingly grand act, if devoid of pure intention, might hold little value. Following the meticulous judgment and the precise balancing of deeds, humanity will then confront another formidable stage, the crossing of the Sirat, This is not a metaphorical journey but a literal bridge, said to be sharper than a sword and thinner than a hair, stretching over the abyss of hellfire. The description alone instills a profound sense of apprehension. Each soul, having been judged, must now attempt to traverse this perilous path to reach paradise. The speed and ease with which individuals cross will directly correlate with the piety and righteousness they demonstrated in their worldly lives. Some will pass like lightning, others like a swift wind, some like galloping horses, and still others will crawl or stumble. For those whose good deeds outweigh their bad, the path will be made easier, their light illuminating the way. However, for those burdened by sin, the bridge will prove treacherous. Many will falter, their feet slipping, and they will ultimately fall into the consuming flames below, a stark reminder of the eternal consequences of their choices. This moment is one of intense individual reckoning, a solitary journey where no one can aid another. The fear and hope intertwined create an atmosphere of profound anticipation as each soul faces the ultimate test of their faith and deeds. The bridge itself is a physical manifestation of the spiritual journey through life, where every decision and every action either strengthens one's footing or weakens it. Following the meticulous judgment and the precise balancing of deeds, humanity will then confront another formidable stage, the crossing of the Sirat. This is not a metaphorical journey but a literal bridge, said to be sharper than a sword and thinner than a hair, stretching over the abyss of hellfire. The description alone instills a profound sense of apprehension. Each soul, having been judged, must now attempt to traverse this perilous path to reach paradise. The speed and ease with which individuals cross will directly correlate with the piety and righteousness they demonstrated in their worldly lives. Some will pass like lightning, others like a swift wind, some like galloping horses, and still others will crawl or stumble. For those whose good deeds outweigh their bad, the path will be made easier, their light illuminating the way. However, for those burdened by sin, the bridge will prove treacherous. Many will falter, their feet slipping, and they will ultimately fall into the consuming flames below, a stark reminder of the eternal consequences of their choices. This moment is one of intense individual reckoning, a solitary journey where no one can aid another. The fear and hope intertwined create an atmosphere of profound anticipation, as each soul faces the ultimate test of their faith and deeds. The bridge itself is a physical manifestation of the spiritual journey through life, where every decision and every action either strengthens one's footing or weakens it. The righteous will be guided by an inner light, a divine luminosity emanating from their belief and good deeds, which will illuminate the darkness of the path before them. This light acts as both a guide and a protector, making the impossibly thin and sharp bridge feel firm beneath their feet. Their hearts will be filled with a serene confidence, a direct result of their unwavering faith and sincere devotion to God throughout their earthly lives. They will move across with varying degrees of speed, some so swiftly they will barely perceive the chasm below, while others, though slower, will still cross safely, their light unwavering. This light is a direct reflection of their spiritual state, a visible manifestation of their taqwa, or God consciousness. It is a reward for their struggles and sacrifices, a beacon that leads them to their ultimate destination of eternal bliss. Their journey across the Sirat is a final purification, a testament to their perseverance and sincerity, culminating in the joy of paradise. In stark contrast, those who disbelieved, whose hearts were devoid of faith, will find themselves enveloped in utter darkness. Without the guiding light of belief, the Sirat will appear impossibly daunting, its edges sharper than any blade, its span more precarious than any tightrope. They will stumble and falter, their feet unable to find purchase on the treacherous surface. The terrifying reality of hellfire will roar beneath them, its flames licking at the underside of the bridge, its heat unbearable, its depths an endless abyss. The fear will be palpable, their sins weighing them down, drawing them inevitably towards the fiery chasm. They will attempt to cross, driven by a desperate, futile hope, but their lack of faith and the burden of their transgressions will ensure their downfall. Their bodies will be dragged, scraped, and ultimately plunged into the scorching depths of hell, fulfilling the divine decree. This descent is not merely a physical fall, but a spiritual one, a consequence of their rejection of truth and their embrace of falsehood in the world. For those believers who successfully navigate the Sirat, even if they stumbled or were scratched by its sharp edges, The crossing serves as a final purification. Any remaining minor sins, any lingering impurities from their earthly existence, will be expunged during this arduous passage. The fear, the struggle, and the eventual triumph over the bridge act as a cleansing fire, preparing them fully for the pristine purity of paradise. They emerge from the Sirat cleansed and renewed, ready to enter the eternal abode of peace and joy, where every trace of imperfection has been removed. This final purification ensures that only the truly pure and righteous enter the presence of God in Jannah, making their entrance all the more glorious and well-deserved. The experience of crossing the Sirat, therefore, is not just a test but also a mercy, a final opportunity for believers to shed their remaining burdens before receiving their ultimate reward. The terrifying reality of hellfire, visible and audible beneath the bridge, serves as a stark and inescapable reminder of the consequences of disbelief and unrepented sin. Its roaring flames, its agonizing screams, and its immense heat are not merely imagined, but are a palpable presence throughout the crossing. This horrifying spectacle intensifies the fear and urgency for those attempting to traverse the Sirat, making every step a monumental act of courage and faith. For the righteous, it reinforces their gratitude for God's mercy and their dedication to His path. For the unrighteous, it is a chilling preview of their impending doom, a final visceral warning of the torment that awaits them. The presence of hellfire beneath the Sirat underscores the absolute justice of God and the profound significance of one's choices in the worldly life. It is the ultimate deterrent, a constant fiery testament to the power and severity of divine punishment. After the epic crossing of the Sirat, humanity stands at the precipice of their eternal destinies, two realms starkly different yet equally absolute: Jannah, the Garden of Paradise, and Jahannam, the fire of hell. Jannah is a realm beyond human comprehension, a place where every desire is fulfilled, every joy amplified, and every sorrow eradicated. It is described as a vast expanse of lush gardens, where rivers flow with pure, unadulterated water, milk, honey, and wine that never intoxicates. Each stream a symbol of divine bounty and pleasure. The air is fragrant with musk, and the ground is carpeted with saffron. Palaces of gold, silver, and precious gems rise majestically, and the inhabitants are adorned in silks and brocades, living in eternal youth and perfect health. Every moment in Jannah is one of bliss, peace, and unparalleled contentment, a reward for a life lived in devotion and righteousness. The varying levels of paradise are a testament to the diversity of human piety and the boundless mercy of God. There are 100 levels of Jannah, each more beautiful, more expansive, and more glorious than the last. The highest level, Al-Firdaus, is reserved for the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the most righteous of believers, those who strove with utmost sincerity in God's path. Each level offers its unique splendors, with greater proximity to the divine throne and more exquisite delights. The inhabitants will see their deeds reflected in the grandeur of their surroundings, their efforts in this world culminating in an eternal reward that far surpasses any earthly imagination. The beauty of these gardens is not static, it is dynamic, constantly renewing itself, offering new wonders with every passing moment, ensuring that boredom and dissatisfaction are utterly unknown. The ultimate reward, however, transcends all physical pleasures and material comforts. It is the vision of God Himself, a profound spiritual experience that will eclipse all other joys of paradise. For the inhabitants of Jannah, the ability to gaze upon the countenance of their Creator, without veil or intermediary, will be the pinnacle of their eternal existence, a joy so immense that it is beyond any earthly comparison. This divine vision is the greatest honor, the most cherished blessing, and the ultimate fulfillment of the human soul's yearning for its Lord. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated spiritual ecstasy, confirming the eternal covenant between the Creator and His devoted servants, solidifying their place in His divine presence forever. In stark contrast to the radiant bliss of Jannah lies Jahannam, the fire of hell, a place of unimaginable torment and suffering, reserved for those who rejected God's guidance and persisted in disbelief and wrongdoing. Jahannam is not a single uniform entity but comprises various layers, each designed to inflict punishment commensurate with the severity of sins committed. The descriptions paint a terrifying picture, a fire 70 times hotter than any earthly flame, its intensity capable of melting mountains. The inhabitants will be clothed in garments of fire, their skin repeatedly burned away and replaced anew to ensure continuous suffering. Their drink will be boiling water and pus, their food the thorny fruit of Zakum, which will tear their insides. The layers of Jahannam are structured to reflect the hierarchy of sin. The lowest depths are reserved for the hypocrites, those who outwardly professed faith but inwardly harbored disbelief, their deception earning them the most severe punishment. Other layers are designated for idolaters, disbelievers, murderers, and those who oppressed others without repentance. Each layer presents its unique forms of torment, from searing heat and suffocating smoke to crushing chains and venomous creatures. The pain is not merely physical, it is also psychological and spiritual, as the inhabitants endure regret, despair, and the crushing realization of their wasted lives, their chances for redemption forever lost. Every moment in Jahannam is one of agony, fear, and utter hopelessness, a just recompense for their defiance. The suffering in Jahannam is eternal, a concept that underscores the gravity of human choices and the absolute justice of God. There is no escape, no reprieve, and no end to the torment for those destined to remain there forever. The Quran and Hadith describe the inhabitants crying out for relief, for death, for a second chance, but their pleas will be met with the unyielding reality of their eternal damnation. This finality serves as a profound warning to humanity, emphasizing the importance of seeking God's pleasure and adhering to His commands in this fleeting worldly life. The eternal suffering of hellfire is a powerful reminder that every action, every intention, and every belief carries immense weight, shaping one's ultimate destiny in the afterlife. Thus, Jannah and Jahannam represent the ultimate outcome of one's journey through life, the final destinations that mark the eternal consequences of belief and disbelief, righteousness and transgression. These abodes are not merely abstract concepts but vivid realities, meticulously described in Islamic texts to inspire hope in the righteous and instill fear in the transgressors. The journey from Barzakh, through the resurrection, the judgment, and the crossing of the Sirat, culminates in one of these two eternal realms. They are the final chapters of the human story, where divine justice is perfectly meted out, and every soul receives its just deserts, forever cementing the eternal outcome of their life on earth. We have journeyed through the unseen realms, from the immediate solitude of Barzakh to the cosmic upheaval of the Day of Judgment, and finally to the eternal abodes of Jannah and Jahannam. This intricate tapestry of existence after death reveals a profound truth. Every breath we take, every word we utter, every deed we perform in this fleeting world echoes into an eternity far grander and more enduring than we can fully grasp. The narratives of the grave's embrace, the angel's interrogation, the mizan's precise calibration, and the Sirat's perilous crossing are not mere stories but vital signposts, guiding us through the most significant journey of all. They underscore the immense weight of our earthly lives and the indelible mark our choices leave on our eternal destiny. The urgency of preparing for this afterlife cannot be overstated. Time in this world is a precious finite commodity, a brief window of opportunity to sow seeds that will yield fruits in the hereafter. We are constantly reminded that death is not an end but a transition, a gateway to a realm where our true measure will be taken. Therefore, the focus of our lives should transcend the ephemeral pleasures and pursuits of this dunya, shifting instead towards cultivating a legacy that will benefit us when we stand before our Creator. This preparation is not about fear alone, but about hope, about striving for a divine pleasure that promises an everlasting reward. This understanding calls us to action, urging us to dedicate ourselves to good deeds, to embody kindness, and to strengthen our faith with every passing day. Among the most profound investments we can make is Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous charity, which continues to benefit others even after our departure, thereby earning us ongoing rewards in our graves and beyond. Constructing a well, planting a tree, building a mosque, or educating a child, these acts of generosity are not merely temporal gestures but perpetual streams of blessing that flow into our eternal accounts. Beyond material contributions, the cultivation of a noble character, marked by compassion, humility, and justice, serves as an equally potent form of investment. How we treat our neighbours, how we uphold our trusts, how we respond to adversity, these are the true measures of our inner state, shaping the comfort or torment we will experience in Barzakh, and determining our ultimate standing on the Day of Judgment. Indeed, every act of kindness shown to a fellow human, every moment of patience in the face of provocation, every instance of forgiveness extended to those who wronged us, and every sincere prayer offered in devotion are not lost to the winds of time. They are meticulously recorded, destined to become the light that illuminates our path across the Sirat, the weight that tips our scales towards salvation, and the keys that unlock the gates of Jannah. These are the investments that truly matter, bearing dividends that far surpass any earthly wealth or fleeting prestige. As we conclude this exploration of the soul's journey after death, we are left not with despair, but with a renewed sense of hope and a profound call to spiritual reflection. The path ahead is clear: to live a life imbued with purpose, guided by divine wisdom, and dedicated to the pursuit of righteousness. May this understanding deepen our commitment to a purposeful existence, inspiring us to perform good deeds, to strengthen our faith, and to embody the highest ideals of compassion and justice, ensuring that our lasting legacy is one that leads to eternal bliss. This journey through Barzakh and towards the Day of Judgment is not merely a theological concept. It serves as a powerful moral compass, urging us to examine our intentions and refine our actions in this transient world. It underscores the profound interconnectedness between our present choices and our eternal destiny. Each breath we take, each word we utter, and each step we make contributes to the tapestry of our afterlife. The seemingly small acts, often overlooked in the hurried pace of daily life, hold significant weight in the divine calculus. A smile given to a stranger, a burden lightened for a neighbor, a moment spent in quiet contemplation of God's creation, all accumulate as precious currency for the hereafter. The vivid descriptions of the grave's constriction, the questioning by the angels Munkar and Nakir, and the subsequent phases of Barzakh are not meant to instill paralyzing fear, but rather to awaken a conscious awareness of accountability. They serve as a constant reminder that life is a sacred trust, a limited opportunity to cultivate a garden of good deeds that will flourish in the eternal realm. Imagine the relief of a soul whose good deeds illuminate the grave, expanding its confines into a spacious vista, or the comfort of answers flowing effortlessly when confronted by the divine interrogators. Conversely, consider the profound regret of a soul grappling with the consequences of neglect and transgression, wishing for just one more chance to rectify past mistakes. This perspective transforms our understanding of time itself. It is no longer an endless expanse to be squandered, but a precious commodity, each second a potential investment in our eternal well-being. It encourages a life of mindfulness, where every decision is weighed against its ultimate impact. The pursuit of fleeting worldly gains pales in comparison to the enduring rewards promised in the afterlife. The anxieties and stresses of earthly existence begin to recede when viewed through the lens of eternity. What truly matters is not the accumulation of wealth or power for their own sake, but how these resources are utilized in the service of God and humanity. Ultimately, the Islamic understanding of the journey after death offers not a grim prognosis, but a profound invitation to introspection and transformation. It is a call to align our lives with divine principles, to foster compassion, justice, and piety in our hearts and actions. By embracing this understanding, we are empowered to live more purposefully, to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience, and to face the inevitable transition with a sense of peace, knowing that our sincere efforts in this world are meticulously preserved and will ultimately lead us to the boundless mercy and infinite grace of our Creator.